Hey everybody, I hope y'all got pretty weather where you are. I'm sure there's some that's got it a lot worse than what we have, but it is just rain, 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 and it's damp and chilly, but at least there's no snow, there's no ice, so can't complain, can't complain. Okay, I'm trying to get my page to come up, but you know, why is it you always have trouble with either your phone or your computer? It's funny, every time my friend and I, Kathy, who is from Mountain Home, every time we get, has reimagined surfaces, every time we get together, it's like we have to start over 3 or 4 times. So, because we have technical difficulties about every time we turn around. All right, nope. All right, I am, okay. I had a hard time. I was trying to turn the volume down on this so that I could keep up, but a lot of times I don't have time to see all the comments, so I usually have to wait until afterwards. And as y'all already know, I'm doing the flip top table. I started this the other day, and it was, I talked about prep and how to clean your product or surface, and then I mixed a custom color using Miss Lillian's No Wax chalk paint. And I done 1 coat the other day in that live, and I went ahead and applied the 2nd coat. And as you can see, that's great coverage. And because this was dark, I mean, that was a dark surface. And I put on, whenever I apply paint, I always teach less is more. So always keep that in mind. I don't use a lot of paint whenever I do an application. And I was trying, because this is going to be the design that I'm going to put on the top, and I carry these as well on my website, twochattychicks.com. And I was kind of wanting a color that I saw in here, which would have probably been Miss Lillian's Cream Brulee, and I didn't have any here at the house. So I thought I was trying to use up what I had in my large quartz. So I took Pyramid Gold and Pineapple and mixed them together and created that color. And I really like it. It turned out really nice. And the legs, I've decided I'm going to leave them the dark color, but I'm going to use gel stain tobacco on the legs down here. I really like the dark contrast. So, and I know I said I wasn't going to distress, but I think it's just in me. I can't help myself, because I look at the transfer and you know it's kind of distressed in itself. So I think I am going to distress it just a little bit. Oh, but before I go any further, I'll kind of show y'all what I'm going to be working on next week. I've had this little guitar sitting around forever, and I have already prepped it, and I put Miss Lillian's Swamp Mud on it because it was a slick surface, so I really wanted to make sure that whatever application I put on, that it was going to stick, and her Swamp Mud is just fabulous for that. You can use it on glass, metal. So I'm going to be working on this. Don't know yet what I'm going to do with it, but that's going to be one project. That's kind of like the New Year's thing you're trying to do, and I've had that about almost 2 years trying to get it done. And then I was playing a while ago with one of my rollers. I carry Artistic Painting Studios products as well, and this is one of the rollers. So I was playing a while ago, and I thought, you know what, this would really be a pretty finish. I'm gonna figure out what I want to do with it. I hadn't decided yet, but that'll be coming next week. So I will show y'all how to apply the transfer. And what I'm going to do is, oh, and a tip, whenever I'm going to distress it, and I'll show y'all that in a minute. And y'all, I'm normally not on this time of the day, so, but I know that y'all that watch will be on later, so that's cool. But if you have any questions, just ask me and I'll get back with you. A lot of times I'll use my orbital sander, and it'll have 220, and that's what I use. But I don't want to use it on this. I just want to do a light distress. So I didn't have any that I had already used, so I didn't want it to be too harsh. So a lot of times I'll take and sand it with another piece to get some of the grit off. And then I'll kind of rub it up against itself. That way it's not going to take off more than what I want. And whenever I do that, a lot of times, that way it will bend. It's more pliable that way. And then I am going to hold my sandpaper like this because, of course, I don't want those round edges there. Okay. I'll take it and do it like that because you don't want any edges to scrape across your painted surface and make a scratch. You want it to be a natural distress. So, and another thing, the bottom, I'm going to be using the tobacco gel stain. And so that you'll know, whenever you're using the gel stain, always wear your gloves because it is an oil-based product. And I either remove it with gauze or I will use a white cotton rag. 99% of the time I use gauze though, because I used to do cabinets and I always use gauze to do that. I always keep a bucket with a Walmart bag inside of it and I put water in it. And whenever I'm through with my brush and my rags, that's where all of that goes, is in the water. And then whenever it's garbage day, I'll tie it up and I put it in the garbage. Because you don't want dry rags with your gel stain stacked up because it can combust. And the reason I know that is because that happened to someone once. So it's kind of like a sawdust pile. It gets gases in there and it'll build up and ignite itself. Really weird. And I had that happen to us on the farm. Quite scary, by the way. And then on the top, after I get this on, but I'm not going to do it today because I want to show y'all how I'm going to apply the gel stain. I may be able to do this after I flip it back up. Once I get the transfer on, I'm going to use her Nutmeg Antiquing Glaze, which is water-based. So the only thing that I am using today or anything on this table is the gel stain that is not water-based. Everything else is water-based. So let me turn this down so that y'all can see what I'm doing. I hope that's going to be close enough for y'all to see the table because I tried to finagle it up on the table and it just wasn't going to work. But as you can see, I am going to hold like that, and I'm just lightly. I don't want a lot, but I just felt that it needed just a little because of the transfer. Because the flour itself is a little distressed. And I'm not putting a lot of pressure because I really don't want a lot of distressing in here. I just want a little bit of that undertone of the dark color to show through. And that's pretty much what I've got. So I'll hold that up there so that you can see. The lighting is not that fantastic right there, I don't think. But that way you can kind of see where it's a little dark. And then it's more tonal value of the paint. And then it's a little darker in here. And that's what I wanted. So, and I love this table because it's one of the flip tops. And it turns as well. Isn't that cool? I really like that. I think that's neat. But whenever I'm doing my transfers, and this is one that had 4 designs in it, and that's pretty good. That's $25. Pretty cool. And it's called the bike rides. I have those on my website as well. And you know what? Today, If y'all want one of these, send me a message and I'll send you a coupon code for 10% off today. What I do is I pretty much know where I'm going to want it. And normally I would tape. I'll just go ahead and get my tape. And anytime I am going to tape something that is on a freshly painted surface, or any painted surface for that matter of fact, I'm always going to use frog tape, or it's blue orange core tape, and it'll be orange on the inside on this right here, and you can get it at Home Depot. I get Home Depot and Hobby Lobby. I'm usually saying one or the other. But I'll just take that into position. Oh, scissors. My fake wall, it moves. Okay, I'm just going to pull this back. I know it's not going to move because I have it taped here. And I'm just going to cut that off. Then I'm going to take my hand and I'm lightly going to push that down. You know what? I need to scoot that. Whoop, too late. But that's okay. I'm going to take my chances and pick it back up. Worked. Okay. Cut that off and I'm going to push that down. And I'm going to go ahead and start rubbing this end. And whenever I get all of this in, then I will be able to pick this end up and remove this piece. And what you want to do is, if you can get a little bit of a bubble, it will start turning white and you can see it coming up. And this one I am really not going to be particular that I get the complete design because I want it to look old and like it's been on there for a long time. Can y'all see that? I will get some more off here and then I'll hold it up where y'all can see. But you can kind of hear it cracking. Whoop. This is the hard part because the table wants to fold up on me. Getting the air bubble underneath there is the main thing. And another thing, whenever you are handling this side, you really don't ever want to touch where the design is because it will come off. Hey, Leslie and Tracy, how are y'all doing today? I'm usually not on during this time of the day, but I have to do a live tonight within my group, so I thought I would just hop on. Okay, oh, I'm liking that. Let me hold this up. Isn't that pretty? I just love that. Very nice. And now that I've got it that way, I'll go ahead and take my tape off. And I'm still going to hold my hand here because there's nothing really holding this because you've already let it release all of the design. So you want to make sure you hold it in place. Flip it up. Let it lay down and then kind of take your hand and you can rub it. But you want to make sure that since you've already started here, you still want to work that way. You don't want to start here and come up. And sometimes I'll just kind of lift to get that air up underneath there. Actually, I had thought about using Miss Lillian's gilding jewels on this after I get this off, but I think I'll stay with the glaze. Because a lot of times I have used my gilding jewels with a stencil brush, a large stencil brush, and used multiple colors on like this whole tabletop, and it's a beautiful effect. Very pretty. I'll also use them for stenciling instead of using paint or stencil paint. Oh, yes, I'm liking this. I'm just kind of lifting it up so I can see where I'm at. I think that has pretty well got it. Very nice. And then I'm just going to take my hand and lightly, and that will help to lay it down. Isn't that a beautiful design? It looks really old. I really like that. It's all cracked in itself, so that's perfect. So I really think the nutmeg will be pretty. I can't decide. I'll have to wait on that one. Sometimes I change my mind in midstream. So let me move this stuff out of the way. And I should have already, I don't think y'all will be able to see me do the glaze from up there, or the gel stain. And y'all, this, see how dirty that is? After I had sanded this and used 50-50 vinegar and water, I cleaned it with Miss Lillian's first step. And you just spray this on the rag, and that's what it took off. That's nasty. I would have not known that it, well, I would have because I use it on cabinets. But it's just phenomenal to think that after I had done it twice with 50-50 vinegar and water, and then rinsed it off with water, that there would still be that much gook on there. Let's see. I don't want to scratch my tabletop, but I'm going to have to turn it upside down to do the glaze, or the gel stain. Let's see, you know what? I think if I did it this way and moved y'all back, just a tad. I still don't like that. So, when all else fails, get the jump table. I thought that that would work. All right. Raise that up just a little bit. Oh, that's better. Yes, much, much better. All right. I don't normally wear gloves, but whenever I am doing the gel stain, that is one time I do wear them because that gets on you and it will stain. And you want to make sure you work in a, a good ventilated area. And I did get a little bit of splatter on here, so I'm just going to sand that off. It's really not going to make that much of a difference, but then I will use the first step to get that dust off. Look, isn't that weird? It still got dirt off. And again, the color I'm using is tobacco. And it's really dark. And you always want to make sure that you stir it. That lid was loose. And that one's about empty, so there we go. And I know I shouldn't, but I love the way this stuff smells. Oh my gosh, Tony, how are you? I haven't seen you in a long time. It's funny how Facebook kind of eliminates people, and there's people I don't see, and then there's people that I see in my feed that I have no clue who they are. It's really weird. And you try to get around everybody's page, but then it's like you're sitting there and it's like an hour or so later and you're like, I really need to be painting. And this is one time that I do teach to use more, because in everything that I teach as far as applying paint and glaze, I always say less is more because you can add it later. So, but with this, I usually add a liberal amount. And that is for longer working time. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do to the bottom. I probably won't use the gel stain on the bottom. I will probably just varnish it. I'll probably use Lackluster, Miss Lillian's Lackluster top coat. I just love tobacco. It's such a rich color. And y'all, whenever you're doing kitchen cabinets, I think that the gel stains are the way to go. I love them. And I had planned on having some videos, I had already started them, of cabinet finishes. Well, I took my computer in to get it worked on, and guess what? A lot of my stuff just kind of disappeared. So it's starting overtime. That's okay. Just have to deal with it, Stuff happens sometimes and there's nothing you can do about it. So I usually always use my gauze whenever I'm working with the gel stains because I can control it better, I guess, rather than using cotton rags, because to me the cotton rags take off too much and I don't want that. So sorry, I needed to move that out of my way. And I sell them by the roll, or you can buy them by the roll. And then I just take and I make them into squares, and then I'm just going to pull it off. But I hold it like this, with kind of like that way instead of flat, and then I just work it, and I'm barely touching. I'm not really putting a lot of pressure. I'm just kind of moving it around. And that way, if I wanted to, I can leave it thicker in here. I'm really trying not to get that on that yellow. But that is really going to be pretty. I think I can put the glaze on the top, the nutmeg today. And then this one will be finished except for applying the, and then whenever your gauze gets a little saturated, just take it and fold it over. That is really pretty. Yep, I'm glad I did that and didn't paint it. Okay, I don't think I want to take any more off. I like it just like that. And then I'll just put it back in. But like I said, I dispose of all of this in water and wait for garbage day to come. Okay, I don't want any of this on the top, so I'm going to take those gloves off. And let me turn this, and let me move y'all up just a tad. Hey Kelly, how are you? You know all about gel stains, huh? Well, Tony does too, and probably the rest of y'all. I think they're hoo-ah. You know what? That's what you call a disappearing act. But I have all my supplies back there, and it really makes it nice. Except for whenever I'm doing Chock couture, and that's all upstairs. Okay. Now I don't want, oh, I just love this color. Now, normally I use a damp sponge to remove. You know what, I wish I had now that I think about it, but that's okay. I'm going to use a baby wipe today to remove the excess because I really don't want a whole lot left on here. And with the transfers, they suggest that you wait 24 hours before you apply. I didn't, and whenever I'm teaching, it's kind of hard to do that, so I usually keep a blow dryer around. And now you could use gauze if you wanted to. You know, it just depends on the look that you're going for. You know what, I'm kind of liking that, so I may just go with that. The thing is just don't be afraid. Just dive right in, because you know what, if you mess it up, you can always fix it somehow. I teach perfectly imperfect. I love this. That is so pretty. I hope y'all like it. And if y'all have any questions, be sure and ask. Now, I will wait 24 hours before I do put the top coat on. So, thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. You know what? It's just, I love the product. I love Miss Lillian's No Wax Chalk Paint. I love all of her products and the redesign. And, you know, you try to keep things separate sometimes, but it's really hard, because I think being able to combine all the products that we carry, it just really makes a lot prettier, you know, and a lot more interesting, a lot more fun. Hey, Doris, how are you? Thank you. Hey, Brooke. Oh, Brooke is just messaging me. I thought she was on. She's saying whoop, whoop. All right, y'all. I really love this. And I don't get a lot of a chance to do paint, because I'm usually trying to teach. So whenever I do, I really enjoy it, because I don't get much of a chance to do that. I'm really hoping to get to do some larger pieces very soon, so we'll see. But, and the gel stain, a really important tip. I won't be applying a top coat to that, but even though it is an oil-based product, say I had used the gel stain on the top and I want to protect the top, even though it's gel stain, it's okay. Wait at least 3 or 4 days before you use Miss Lillian's Lackluster or one of her top coats, and it'll be fine even though it's water-based. It will work. I've done it. I know it will. So, but that's important, that if you're using the gel stain on anything, you always want to wait at least 3 or 4 days before you apply the top coat. So, all right, y'all, I am going to get my mess cleaned up, take my table inside where it will dry, and I'll see y'all later. I appreciate it, y'all, and y'all have a blessed day.